All right, welcome to the Gilbert. It's all about the media podcast, the show where we talk about, well, anything that happens in the media. I am your host, Gilbert Garcia, and I am joined by a very special friend of mine. I've known this guy for a long time, and I'd like to welcome you guys, my friend Jesus Vasquez. He is a school teacher, and for those who don't know, he is also a very happy. I don't know where I'm going with this. He loves Star Wars as much as I am, which is actually the topic for today. Because you grew up with the Star Wars saga, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Was it in Spanish or was it in English? Because I remember you always telling me a lot of both.
I would say it was all in English, but I first started viewing the saga through VHS tapes. So yeah, you can see how old that is.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously a lot has changed for the saga since 1977. 45 years. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 45 years in what, May, I believe?
I think so. That's when the first one came out.
Yeah, so yeah, gonna be 45 years. And the Book of Boba Fett just recently finished. If you guys are not caught up with it, I'm gonna give you to the count of 5 to get out, because if you're not caught up with it, this is gonna be heavy with some spoilers. So in 3, 2, 1. All right, that was your warning. So
all right, let's get into the juicy.
Yeah, let's get. Let's be honest here. When I saw that it was Rodriguez that was directing the first episode, I was stunned, in that he's also the executive producer of, the show.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of it came as a shock to me, because I liked the episode he did for the Mandalorian the one time, which had the return of Boba Fett. But I just didn't see how that was going to play out, because I know that episode was really, really good. It's just I didn't know what direction he was going to take Boba Fett in with this new show. But
yeah,
now that we've seen it, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, it just depends on who you ask. Really is.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people aren't a huge fan of the show, and I get it, because it starts off as a pretty slow burner, and it also kind of goes back and forth, with him escaping the Sarlacc pit, as well as him or what was it? He was living amongst the
Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, the Sand people. Well, whichever. Yeah, he was living amongst them. Which, by the way, I like where Dave and John are going with the Tusken Raiders, because they've always been seen as animals. Just how Anakin said it in episode 2. They act like animals. But
was it in episode 2?
Yeah, it was episode 2. Yeah, where he's talking about how he slaughtered them like animals and they acted like animals. But John and Dave Filoni, they changed it to where it's they act just as human as the humans are. They're just seen as vicious because they don't live amongst them. They live amongst their own.
That, and the fact that, I mean, they have a whole separate language, the Huttese and all that other stuff. That it's I think maybe most of people in Tatooine can read the language, but if you're an outsider, of course you're gonna have trouble knowing what they're saying.
Yeah, yeah, and obviously the biggest surprise was when we got the first ever live action of Cad Bane, voiced again by the great Corey Burton, who has voiced Cad Bane since the Clone Wars series.
Man, I got a lot to say about that character. I'll tell you that. Again, you got to remember that George Lucas, when he was making this whole thing, he was watching a lot of serials back in the 30s, or I think it was the 30s serials, or the 40s and 50s serials of Flash Gordon. And I guess he grew up with watching samurais from Akira Kurosawa and other things like the westerns. So just Cad Bane, I'm just telling you, as soon as I saw Cad Bane for the first time when the Clone Wars appeared, the only person I could think of was Lee Bankley. He just had that charisma,
Yeah, and you recently showed me that he was the inspiration came from the Angel Eyes character from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. If you haven't seen that movie, you should. It is It is 3 hours, I believe.
It's about that much, yeah.
Yeah, but you'll be on the edge of your seats most of the time, so it might not be boring as people are. Because when people think of a 3 hour movie, it's a very slow burn kind of kind of a thing. But
But
it
then
gets
again,
yeah.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it does get interesting towards like the end of the movie.
Right. I mean, that's what everyone says about like 3 hour films. But then you have like, if it's action packed like the Avengers, for instance, I mean, yeah, that's always gonna just keep going, and people aren't gonna get out of their seat. So,
Yeah,
if I let anybody else who any fans who are listening out there, um, if you've never watched a Western in your life, that's probably the only recommendation Gilbert and I can give you.
yeah,
Like if you've never seen one and you only want to watch one, that's the one you should watch.
yeah. And again, it's just it was so cool, especially like I when we found out that he was Cat Bane in the show is 60. Sorry, when we found out he was in his 60s in the show, I'm surprised. Like he still got it, like he's still like the fastest gunslinging, or what I'm like. He's the best sharpshooter in the West or on Tatooine.
Exactly. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah, and it again. It's so cool that Rodriguez. I mean, he's from San Antonio and Mexican native, of course. I mean, not Mexican native, Mexican descent. And my first episode, I talked about how he went from just a guy who was pretty much like the only crew in his production crew for his first film to now being a guy who was responsible for bringing us back Boba Fett, and yeah, and having how do you pronounce his name? Temra,
you mean
like the actor.
oh yeah, I know you're talking about. I'm just trying to remember too.
Tamara Morrison, I think that's what his
Tim
name.
Morrison. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, that episode of The Mandalorian when they're trying to get I forgot his name. He Bill Burr's character when they're trying to get him through the base and they're trying to figure out like who can go with him. And Mando's like, "What about you, Fett? Let's just say they might recognize my face." I swear, for like maybe 2 seconds, I was lost, and then I'm like, "Oh, I get it because of the Clone Wars thing."
Right.
Yeah, I know. I think that was a good reference, but yeah. If you have not caught up with the book of Boba Fett, because I figured at this point people don't care about spoilers, but I mean, if you haven't finished it, it does get interesting the last 3 episodes. But however, like I love that they brought back the Mandalorian, but I'm a bit mixed on that because it is Boba Fett's show. But I get there's so much little you can do with Boba Fett, and people love the Mandalorian, but I didn't like they focused too much on the Mandalorian. I feel like, some of that stuff they could have waited for season 3, but I don't know.
I can see that. I mean, I if you really want to get my perspective on it, I would say the one of the biggest reasons, just trying to go over the overview over the show. Um, I'll tell you what. I'll give you this. Star
Yeah,
Wars fans don't really know what they want because the first time when you talk about it, people wanted Boba Fett. They wanted a movie, and so
yeah,
originally it was supposed to be as a movie, but then that got canceled after another after a previous release, and they decided, okay, let's try to reintroduce him again, but through a show. So with this show coming out, that's exactly what we wanted. Like the first couple episodes, that's exactly what I wanted in a Boba Fett featurette. I can start, but I can notice why a lot of people were saying, "Hold on a minute, this is getting stale," and I think it has to go to the fact that people wanted Boba Fett, but they didn't actually want an overview of his character, because you know how he was so mysterious in the
yeah.
originals,
Hmm.
so we barely even knew who he was. We just knew his name and what he does. Just by the fact that after this show taking place just right after in between episode 6 of some sort,
Yeah,
he what is it now, people are upset for the fact that they're showing more of his backstory or things that he did, that basically that mysteriousness aura of himself is now gone because people are seeing more of him, you know
yeah,
so I have a feeling that's why they decided, okay, let's bring back the Mandalorian and Grogu, of course, or Baby Yoda. A lot of people
yeah,
know him. Brought him back there slowly because they were like, okay, let's try to get some of those ratings back. But even so, it's still good to include those kind of cameos here and there. But I understand what you mean. It should have just really, it's about Boba Fett because that's exactly what this is about, and
yeah,
I can understand why. Like, yeah, seeing the
yeah.
Mandalorian starting to like take his place on the mantle is kind of weird.
Yeah. And, again, there's so much little they can probably do with the character, even though he's pretty big in the series. I have a feeling, and I could be wrong, and maybe Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau could surprise me, but I have a feeling that if it is renewed for a second season, so far I haven't seen anything yet. I'm pretty sure that might be its last season, because like I said, there's probably not a lot they can do with the material they're given. But I mean, either way, who knows where Dave and John can go with this.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, they have a whole plethora of things to do. They can always look back at the legends, the books that came out years ago, and
Yeah,
how originally, those books were canon to the films and shows. I mean, now they're no longer canon. That's why they're called legends after
yeah,
Disney acquired the property. But I mean, they have a whole plethora of things to do. They can look back at previous authors who wrote stuff about Boba Fett, like continuing his journey, and take some things out of those books, probably, and make up a whole season out of that. But who knows?
yeah. All right, I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and we got a lot to say about the 45-year journey of Star Wars. All right?
All right.
All right, we are back to Gilbert. It's all about the media podcast. I'm still here with my good friend Jesus Vasquez, and we are big Star Wars fans, obviously, from our first couple of minutes about the Book of Boba Fett. But you told me that you started off with the OG series. Unfortunately, I started off with the Phantom Pain. But I mean, can you tell me like what was? Because I have a different experience from the series introduction, but what was your experience when watching the OGs and then going to the sequel trilogies?
I would say like it was weird, very complicated. So, I was first introduced to Star Wars with the original. But then I was introduced. My dad had gotten things at the flea market, so he knew what a Star Wars was, and I guess he wanted to show me. But he had only found 2 VHS tapes, and it was the original episode 4 and episode 6. So I basically went in being introduced to Darth Vader and the entire cast, Luke and whatnot, only to find out in episode 6. Wait a minute, Darth Vader is his dad. So I missed out on that once in a lifetime opportunity of witnessing probably the biggest plot twist in all of cinema.
Yeah.
And it's funny because after that I started looking for more VHS tapes of the movies, and I got to episode 1, and then I got to episode 2. So basically, I was like, the way I ended up watching this whole thing was episode 4, 6, 1, 2, 5,
Wow.
and episode 3. So
yeah.
It's a weird journey. But
no, for me, it was I started off with episode 1 on VHS, and then to episode 2. And then I saw episode 6, which just messed me up big time. I'm like, what's going on here? Because they tell me like Darth Vader was Anakin, and I'm like, wait, what's going on? So wait, I don't know if I saw episode 6 before or after episode 2, but and a lot of people have problems with the sequel, not the sequel, the prequel trilogy. We'll get into the sequel trilogy later on, because why not? And I get why, because there was always a mystery of some of the characters, like, of course, Darth Vader, because a lot of people do not like prequel stories to certain villains. I mean, think of Joker, for example. A lot of people were thinking, do we really need this movie because the Joker is such a mysterious character? But once it came out, now all these theories about the Joker. I'm not going to get into this, but you get where I'm going with this. Yeah. So, and then to most people, it's weird because Anakin is like a little 12-year-old kid. So to most people, it's hard to believe someone that small will become Darth Vader. So I get it, and as a kid, I didn't care too much about the special effects. I didn't really care about the annoyance of Jar Jar Binks, as a lot of, fans of the series did before they saw the prequel. I didn't find him entirely annoying. And by the way, I have to say, man, I'm at best. I feel bad, for the amount of negativity that he's gotten for playing a character. And it's not his fault, by the way. It's not his fault. That's just how he was written. A lot of people always blame the actors. It's actually just the characters that are written out that way. But yeah. I mean, did you ever actually have a problem with the prequel trilogy?
Growing up, no, I absolutely loved every single minute of it. What
Yeah,
ended up happening was, of course, you grow older, and then you hear it's always, what is it? Um, status. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what
the
the saying
status
is,
quo.
but I guess it's status quo. I guess you're right, because people, when you watch reviews and you watch people talk about the films, then they get into the prequels. And growing up, I was like, hold on a minute, people hate the prequels because these were good.
Yeah,
And then when they start talking and saying, okay, Jar Jar Binks is like the worst thing ever put to film, and then you start watching the movie afterwards, and you go, yeah, I can see that, but no, I mean, I never thought of him as annoying, um, growing up, so I liked all the films as much as I could.
yeah, and
Sequels, a different story.
yeah. We'll get into the sequels because I mean, if you can't have a Star Wars episode if you're not going to be talking about the prequel. I mean, the sequels.
Yeah.
But I never noticed that until when last year when COVID hit, I didn't have nobody had much to do, so obviously I started binge watching the Star Wars films. I never noticed how outdated that the special effects were gonna get. And then I read that majority of the films were like green screen and blue screen. My reaction to all that was George Lucas just saying, "Hey, just point the camera at the blue screen and then just move it around and make it look like something." You know what I mean? Like I didn't. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, when they documentaries and stuff, and
yeah,
most of it looks just like that. Like there are times, if I remember correctly, there was one time when they were doing a behind the scenes shoot of the if you remember in episode 4 when General Tarkin was basically threatening the Princess Leia
yeah,
about, like, I'm gonna blow up your whole planet of Alderaan if you don't tell us where the droids are at. So in that scene, there's a behind the scenes look at a documentary where they're supposed to be looking at the blue screen, and then in the film we obviously see the Death Star with its laser and boom, blows up everything.
yeah.
In behind the scenes look, though, they're just staring at something, like they're just staring at nothing,
Oh
and
wow.
just say, just take a couple of seconds to stare, and then you hear some guy in the background say, "Boom," and that was it. And the people, and Leia, or sorry, forget my name here. Wow, forgive me. So I mean, Carrie Fisher is just asking, so what are we gonna do here? And they're saying, don't worry, we'll worry about it in post production.
Wow.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, and I remember, I remember even showing this to you when we had the episode 2 on the VHSs. There's a little sequence of 3PO and R2D2 like talking about like the events of Star Wars, mainly Anakin's story, and this was before.
Oh yeah.
This was before episode 3. I don't know why they had to do it on episode 2 though. As I look back at it, they could have done that for episode 3.
Yeah.
I guess it would just, to me, it would have made a lot more sense to put that on episode 3 before. And you know, and as I was looking through it nowadays, a lot of people, of course, didn't love Hayden Christensen's performance. It was either like over the top or it's just not good enough acting or something. Like people didn't like his performance until now they look back at it and we get like he's just trying, you know. But I would say like mainly in episode 2, yes, his performance to me was a bit like over the top. It was just too much. Episode 3, it's only like when he starts becoming Darth Vader, it's like, okay, he's getting better. Only until that part where it's like, you turned her against me. I'm like, okay, I'm done again. Like it's him and Natalie. I think it's the chemistry too. I didn't think him and Natalie Portman had a good chemistry together on the screen. I
It
feel like
didn't
they
look
were.
like that.
It didn't look like that. I felt like they were just there, like they just told. Like I feel like there was no direction to go for them, and I feel like Steven Spielberg. What the heck? I felt like George Lucas like didn't give them like a direction of where they should go within their characters. It's just more like act like you're in love, but they obviously didn't look like they were in love.
It just felt more like he was saying, just stick to the script. And you
Yeah,
know how sometimes, I'll tell you this, George Lucas is, for one of the things, a great storyteller. And
yeah,
the way, when I say by storyteller, there's a difference between storyteller and script supervisor. Because storyteller, that can just be you thinking about all the things you need to put for your, an entire beginning, middle, and end of a story. And he had that all the way back in the 70s. He had it all mapped out, ready to go. But of
yeah,
course, money talks, and well, he had to get that money first before he can get to all this. And it takes years, and with special effects and all that, he would just wait a while until he thought they were perfect at the right time. But yeah, as if you noticed, as a script supervisor, he just does. That's not really his alley.
yeah. And another thing, we were going back to the special effects. Once they get the clone army, again, I never realized that it was all just special effects. There's no one there. Like Samuel Jackson is literally talking to nobody. Like they could have gotten Tamara Morrison. Obviously, if y'all forgot or don't remember, Tamara Morrison played the clones because Jango Fett. They had his, what was it? They had like his DNA to create the clones. Obviously, that's where we got Boba Fett and some of our others. What was his name again? The leader of the clone army. Oh
Yeah.
man, Rex.
Wait, you say that? Yeah, Rex. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your what is it? Your feed kind of like stopped for a moment, and so I was like, wait, hold on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who was the leader of the clone army? It was Rex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like obviously, I thought he was in the live action movies. As I rewatched them, turns out it wasn't. But
Dream?
Yeah. But as I was saying, they could have had Tamara Morrison in a suit along with like some background actors just to like just to have Sam Jackson interact with people. But
really, yeah.
Yeah, but it just sounds so dumb to and even George Lucas has admitted, like, as he looks back at the prequel trilogies, he realized that he's made tons of mistakes, but it's kind of like it's the story that he needed to tell. But it's still a good trilogy to watch. It's not perfect, obviously, but
and if I could add something to it, but there's something that I like to call it poetic justice, because I don't know about you, but I don't know how you what viewing order you watch, whether if it's you watch the originals, the prequels, and the sequels, or if you just go from 1 through 9. I prefer going the latter route, because you know how we said special effects were really kind of like out there in the early 90s and 2000s. They were just starting to get into the big stuff with computers. And it's so cool because even to this day, when you watch Star Wars on TV, or you like if you own it on digital or a Blu-ray, you can just see how vivid the colors are of Coruscant, Naboo, and a whole bunch of other places.
Yeah.
And then you watch the rich, like if you watch it like that, you watch the prequels first. It's so rich and vivid with so many colors.
Yeah.
And then you watch 4, 5, and 6. It makes sense when you think about it, because remember, Episode 3 was the fall of the Jedi Order. And then you get everything to being the Empire's rule with an iron fist. 4, 5, and 6, everything looks bland. Everything looks like the colors are like gloomy.
Yeah.
Or in some way, they like the places aren't even that rich in environment or culture anymore because of what the Empire has done to the galaxy. So when you put it like that, I really do like that comparison. Everything looks so new and rich in the past, and now it's all dystopian, kind of like in the original film.
Yeah, and again, George Lucas, I think he just wanted to do what he did, and I commemorate him for that. He went the route he wanted to do. It's not that well loved by a lot of fans, but I appreciate where he's going with this. We're gonna take another break right now, and we're gonna get to the nitty gritty stuff and in the next few minutes. All right, welcome back to Gilbert. It's all about the media podcast. we're still here on our little Star Wars rant, and now we're into we're into the nitty gritty stuff, which is the stuff with Disney, Kathleen Kennedy and all that. Oh man, dude. So a lot of us were so excited in 2015 when the new series, the new trilogy came out, and obviously it lacked some of the original characters, such as like Hans and Leia, and then Luke, who didn't really have a speaking part in the movie. But we were all just super excited on just seeing Star Wars again. But and we thought like, what's the worst Disney can do? Also, first of all, let me explain that, or not really explain. To me, it's kind of weird that Disney owns Star Wars, but then it earns a lot of money, so I get why they would want to buy it.
Especially and another thing, it's a funny thing. I don't mean to interrupt, but like another funny thing, every single year I always mess with my brother and say, "Guess what happened on your birthday?"
What?
But no, that's what I'm saying. I meant to say, because that's the same day, on October 30th, when Lucasfilm was bought out by Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because you told me Lucas sold it to Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like Kathleen Kennedy, who was the head of Lucasfilms, I mean, she said she had like plans for the new trilogy, but the way she was heading towards it, especially like, I think I remember John Boyega even noticed like lacks of diversity. I think that was one of the problems, was like lack of diversity and stuff like that, and lack of course, the OG cast.
Just the way they were casted, or not casted. I meant to say the way they were written. To be fair, where were they put in the story? It was almost like they were there as moral support for the new cast. But they didn't really have any importance to the overall story.
Yeah, and it's I'm always just gonna look back at it, just like when 2015, when we all saw the first, of the sequel trilogy, we're all like just wondering what's Luke gonna say, and then 2 years later he just like he just throws it out like, they don't need it anymore, or it's not important to me, that's just,
it doesn't matter to him no more. It's like, dude, wait a minute. This is the same guy who's the title of episode 6 refers to, who was gonna bring back the Jedi Order, only for one little insignificant event to cause his whole life to say, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and listen to some. I'm gonna go ahead and listen to Coldplay or anything like 2 Chainz or whatever, because I am done with what I initially started.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe if you've kept up with the Book of Boba Fett and you've seen like Luke training Grogu. I'm like, really? This is seeing Luke in that show. I'm like, this is what Luke's gonna end up being, because I remember saying that Dave Filoni and John were gonna try to retcon like Kathleen's version of what she on her trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But it does still look like they're going with the same route as it's going, but I guess they want to change a lot of the stuff that fans weren't into. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing: I liked the first movie, blindsided as I may be, but I did like also Rogue One, just because we don't really like get enough of the people who aren't Jedis,
Yeah, we don't. We finally get a story that's not involving the Jedi, and it doesn't have anybody with a lightsaber for that matter. Sure, the only person, again, years spoilers, but it doesn't matter anymore. The only person we ever had a lightsaber was Darth Vader himself.
Yeah.
But that was only like the last 10 minutes of the entire film. So yeah, you had the entire film focused on one set of group of people.
Yeah, and the scene where Darth Vader came out, I thought that was gonna like I thought that was gonna be the opener for A New Hope, but the moment where they introduced the CGI Leia, which I don't know how it looks better than the Tarkin CGI, but because it's made by the same company, I mean it's made by the same special effects team, so I don't know what was going on, because And here's the thing: when I first saw Rogue One, I wasn't that bothered by the special effects they used like for Tarkin. But as I rewatched it, I'm like, wow, was it really that bad? But yeah, but I was gonna say that moment where like she says, "What does this mean?" That means hope. I think that's actually where the New Hope starts off at.
Yep, just right after that scene is right like the first couple minutes of the film.
Yeah, and like the real good part about that is when they got James Earl Jones back as the voice of Darth Vader.
Voice Darth Vader.
By the way, it's nothing. We should have talked about this like the last segment, but no James Earl Jones going no. Even what like 8-year-old me knew that was bad the moment I saw that in the theaters. I'm like, what? Really? This is how you're bringing the voice back?
I was like, wait, this is Darth Vader?
Yeah. And it also surprised me that he was the voice of Mufasa too. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, By the way, that dude's 90 years old. He's gonna be 91 this year.
It's just weird how time flies by, man. It's crazy when you have people that you grew up with, and you grew up seeing in theaters and whatnot, and now they're so old.
Yeah, Harrison Ford is gonna be 80, and now they're gonna start filming the Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, I am not excited for that.
Yeah, again, it's just where Disney is because what Indiana Jones is owned by Lucasfilms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, Disney. Oh man, if only Dave and John has something to do with that, maybe it would be better.
I mean, when you get rid of, sorry, I know we're changing the subject, but when you get rid of the original people who made the franchise what it is, and give it to a whole new team with a director who has experience, he's shown his strat in films, but really, when you think about it, the only reason they probably chose him was for a previous film that ended someone else's story to come back and end another's. Kind of, I don't know. You don't get your hopes up that well. But.
Yeah, and we gave our hopes up way too much when The Last Jedi came out, and and again the problems with actors. When what was her name again? Marie Tran. She plays Rose.
Oh yeah.
Eva Marie Tran, I think that's what it's her name. I
believe so, yeah.
Yeah. She got hate just because of her character, but it's not her fault. She was just casted. She didn't read she probably didn't read the whole script. She didn't know, or she didn't even foresaw the effects of her character or the effects of her performance. People hated her I was gonna say people hated her so much that she even deleted like her social media accounts and all that.
See, the backlash to that was really uncalled for.
Yeah.
As an act, like I'll give you my little spiel about The Last Jedi. When after we went to go see it on opening night or whatnot. I was upset, and her character was really one of the defining factors of the film that really did me in. But it wasn't the actress that I had any hate for. Like, she did her part. Yeah. It was fine. It's just she was put, in my opinion, she was unnecessarily put along with John Boyega in these films simply to meet a quota. Because what draws people to the theater, according to Disney, diversity.
Yeah.
So they were only there to fill it, to check mark a box that says, okay, we already have diverse cast of characters here. We got people of various different colors. Let's go with it. And then you start noticing, well, hold on a minute. Just because she's this certain race and he's this other certain race, if they're put in a situation to where one of them acts like Jar Jar Binks to most of these people, or another one who's original, like in episode 7, was really good, and you expected him to have such a major role in this trilogy, only to be casted aside as a joke in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, then you had problems.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just because like you have a race there doesn't mean it's true diversity. It's more like they thought they had diversity, but they don't know how to use how to use it well, or the usage of diversity. And I mean, like, they want to show like full female power, but it, like we always said, it kind of messed up the Lucas's story, where they said Anakin was the chosen one to take down the dark side, which obviously did happen in his original trilogy. Even though he was still Darth Vader, he still took down the Empire. Because as I look back at it now, it just seems pointless if you're just adding in Kathleen's trilogy.
And it's funny because if we have time, I want to kind of dive a little bit into that. He had script treatments for 7, 8, and 9 when he gave Lucasfilm to Disney. He gave them to Kathleen Kennedy, and he expected her to. I mean, it's already been said before, so everyone already knows the story. But he gave her those script treatments in hopes that they use them, because they still had, Daisy Ridley's character. It wasn't Rey, but it was a new person who's gonna take up a mantle for the Jedi, and Luke was supposed to train her. In the end of the story, I haven't looked into those scripts that much, to be honest, but in that story's ending, it still was going to say Anakin is the chosen one, even if he died as Darth Vader. And years later, now you have a new order coming out to continue the legacy of the Empire. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Anakin was still the chosen one in that sequel trilogy of Lucas. But when they took those scripts, they basically threw them in the trash and they went with their own story.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Because J.J. Abrams even said, they went in with literally, even in the first movie, they went in without a plan. There was supposed to be, like you said, there was supposed to be a plan. And, they just toss it out like, hey, we'll just do our own thing here. And I'm pretty sure even, who was it, Rian Johnson might have had his own way of doing it, but Disney wants their way.
Yeah.
I mean, and Rian Johnson is a good director. If anyone's ever seen Looper or Knives Out, it's well written, it's well directed. I'm gonna actually say that the Last Jedi, despite the story, despite the whole story and all that, it was well shot. It has good cinematography it actually has a better if I look at The Last Jedi and the other two films, the cinematography is actually really good.
That's true. That's a plus for this film.
Yeah, especially on the island. I think the island had some good shots, some good beauty shots. No one's gonna talk about it, but people like us, because no one really cares about the cinematography or the editing. But some people do talk about the fight scene, the choreo. By the way, the choreography of the fight scenes, I'm noticing that they're not really as consistent as the prequel trilogies were. Because when you look at the prequel trilogies, I mean, the one where with Qui-Gon, Ewan, and Rey, right? Ray Park.
Ray Parker.
That was well choreographed. The fight scene between Anakin and Obi-Wan in the third movie, that was way too choreographed. They could have at least made a couple of slip-ups there, but at least it was still choreographed. To me, the fight scenes in the sequel trilogy are just more, they're just swinging their lightsabers around.
That's what it felt like the entire time. I mean, you can just watch The Last Jedi's scene with Kylo and Rey as they're fighting all the, I guess, Sith troopers? Or I'm confusing that. But you can see it all just like they're just spinning their lightsabers in multiple ways.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even in the episode 2, Hayden Christensen was just swinging his lightsaber around. Especially even like Qui-Gon. No, Count Dooku.
Count Dooku, yeah.
Yeah, Count Dooku. He's kind of swinging his around too. Especially like the fight scene with Yoda. Which, by the way,
he is old.
Yeah. Here's the thing we didn't talk about in the other segment, and that is, do you remember your audience screaming when Yoda took out his lightsaber? Because mine's didn't. I remember.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this much. I never got to see any of these movies in theaters.
Oh, really?
Except for 7, 8, 9. So, 7 was, in fact, the very first film I got to see in theaters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reason why I asked is because my audio teacher, he said when he saw Episode 2 in theaters, he said he remembers the whole audience going berserk with Yoda, getting his lightsaber, because that's the first time we get to see Yoda as the Jedi Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, in the prequel trilogy, he was only seen as the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if anyone has ever caught it, when Luke's training Grogu, he has Baby Yoda on his back. Just brings you Empire Strikes Back memories. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So I feel like Disney is good with their shows on the Star Wars than with their movies, but because no one asked for a Han Solo movie. No one did.
No one.
It was just money-wise. And you said you haven't seen it, right?
Oh, no. I actually own it.
Wow.
So, I mean, look, we're Star Wars fans. It doesn't matter. No matter how bad it reeks, you're still going to own it somehow. So
Yeah.
I do have Solo, but I'll tell you what, only watched it once.
Oh. Once is the only time you need, because when I binge watch it, it's like I don't want to, but it feels like an obligation for me to watch the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Ron Howard even had a hard time trying to direct this movie because the script,
it wasn't his movie.
It wasn't, and the script was very inconsistent. It just goes from one place to the next. And I'm just gonna ask, who invited Woody Harrelson as a member? By the way, he looked like he didn't want to be part of the movie.
He did not, dude. It was almost like he was doing this so that if he has kids, it's probably one of those reasons. Like, I'm just doing it so that my kids can see me in a Star Wars movie.
Probably, yeah. I mean, who else? Danny Newton didn't want to be looked like she didn't want to be in the movie. That's why they killed her off pretty early in the movie. Emilia Clarke. Basically, honest.
Emilia Clarke had the best role in this film.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone says Ray Parker, but no, that he's a cameo. But Emilia Clarke had like the best role of this film and played her part extremely well. And to be honest, she would be the only character I want to see come back in any show that Disney plans on doing.
Yeah. And then I do have issues with not with Danny Glover. Yeah, Danny Glover as Lando. It's just more like I didn't like how they used Lando in the show. I mean, in the movie. Yeah, I didn't like how they used him. Because he was just there just so they could introduce the Millennium Falcon, which obviously he had before Han Solo.
Which makes sense. But
yeah, I get it, but I feel like he was just used to like, okay, I'm here with the Millennium Falcon. You're gonna take it away from me in the future, but bye now.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least we got to see the Tesla run, right?
Yes, that was kind of cool. Just to see what this whole thing was about.
Yeah. And I'm like about this Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who voiced what was K2? No, wait, no, K2's the other robot in Rogue One, whatever her droid name was.
Yeah.
I mean, like I felt like, really, you're gonna have an activist droid? I mean, because she
was only there for one purpose, and I mean, even then, it's like, oh, her purpose was to guide Han through the Kessel Run.
I guess
her guiding her GPS system or whatever it was, and it was like, okay, that's cool, but you're taking one thing that was probably mentioned once by 3PO in like episode 5 or 4 about the Millennium Falcon, and you're gonna go ahead and just let's go ahead and put that into a robot an activist.
Yeah, because I was going to say, because she's also a feminist or pro-feminist. And, because if anyone's ever seen Fleabag out there, it's a very funny show, by the way. I know you probably had not heard of it, but she came out in a show called Fleabag on Amazon, and she plays a feminist. Not a good feminist. Whereas, you know how like there are people who say they are something, but they truly aren't?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what her character was in the show. Like, because, feminists are always like, I don't submit to men. Her character actually does submit to men. Whereas, like, I don't need a man in my life. She's actually willing to have men in her life. That's how her character kind of is. Like, she's feminist, but she's feminist, but she doesn't have, like, the feminist views, basically. So, again, I don't know why they even decided on casting her. and now she's gonna be on the Indiana Jones movie. I don't know what Disney is with her, but
I think again it has to go with the fact that they're trying new things. They're trying to bring different perspectives into franchises that have
yeah,
been that have been led by a huge male audience.
yeah,
So
yeah. I get it. I get it. The only good thing that ever came out of most of this is that the great John Williams is the score of all of the films.
thankfully, he decided to come back.
Yeah, and he's 90 years old, still working, man. Because his 90th birthday just recently happened. Dang. John Williams. He hasn't been working with Steven Spielberg in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Because I forgot the composer Spielberg's been working with recently, but yeah. And it's funny because for those who don't know, John Williams did won the Oscar in '78 for scoring Star Wars. So, yeah, give it up for him. But we're gonna take a quick break right now, and we got one more topic. So let's just see where that goes. All right, welcome back to Gilbert. It's all about the media podcast. Susan and I were literally just going through our next topic, and that is, Star Wars isn't just the movies. It's also, and we were talking about the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. So obviously, they have video games like, the Lego Star Wars. Back when Lego games didn't have people talking. Remember that?
Oh yes. Oh, and let me tell you something since we're on this topic, because if you haven't seen the new trailer yet for the Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, at the end of the trailer they revealed that you can actually play the mumbling mode. They will
really?
let you play the voices so you can hear everybody and whatnot, or if you want, you could play the whole game with them just not saying anything. And I was like, that is good.
Yeah. Because I remember someone telling me that, like, in the Empire Strikes Back video game, they said instead of Darth Vader saying "I am your father," he just shows up a picture. So I was like, man, I wish I would have seen that. But yeah, and then I played the Star Wars Battlefront games. I like those. And then man.
Did you ever play Jedi Fallen Order?
No. I do remember one. It might be Fallen Order. I don't know which one, but it's like there was a Sith and he was able to bring a whole ship down with just by himself, like just using the Force.
That I think was the Force Unleashed.
Oh, I gotta look into it. How I know about that is because somebody made a Marvel versus DC versus Transformers versus Star Wars trailer, and I'm like, dude, that's gonna be like a $5 billion film to make.
For real.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure because they're bringing back the Lego Star Wars games, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna be bringing back some of the other video games too. Because those who've ever seen Shameless and Gotham Cameron Monaghan has came out in a video game of Star Wars recently, but I forgot what it's called. It's the newer Star Wars.
Are you talking? I think I know who you're talking about. That dude who let me guess, was he playing Joker?
Yeah, in Gotham, yeah.
He's the guy who plays oh man, I'm gonna already mess up his name. But he's the Jedi you play in the new Jedi Fallen Order game on the PS4.
Yeah.
And Xbox One.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played a lot of the games, so hopefully because people have been petitioning to bring back a lot of video games. Like somebody has been petitioning to bring back the Lord of the Rings games from the original Xbox games.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we're not that far off of people wanting to bring those back too. But video games, as well as like certain shows too, like the Clone Wars. But I heard like when you watch the Clone Wars, when Cartoon Network released them, they were actually released out of order. Versus when even when you watch them on Disney Plus, I think they're also out of order too. I think just the first season.
The first couple seasons. At least the second season, I think everything goes in order.
Yeah. And I remember, and these were because I even remember the movie just like not even being good at all. I don't know. I guess because of the whole Jabba the Hutt's son thing. That was just to me is just random. But a lot of people didn't like it because of Ahsoka Tano being a little kid, but the way she was dressed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I never saw the film in theaters. Again, missed opportunity. But but after watching it years later on Disney Plus, I can see why. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can see why it didn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah. But the character did grow to a lot of fans, especially like in Star Wars Rebels. It's weird to see that Freddie Prinze Jr. had something to do with Star Wars, because you remember Freddie Prinze Jr. from obviously Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
And man, I don't know. It's like when you watch Star Wars Rebels, you don't hear Freddie Prinze Jr. You just hear Kanan, and that's just pretty cool. And obviously we have the new Mandalorian. They said season 3 was gonna come out late this year. I'm not certain for sure. And again, so far as we're recording this, there's no announcement on whether or not there's gonna be a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. Like I said, if there is, it might be the last, but I could be wrong, which I usually am. But now they have more. The Obi-Wan series is gonna come out this year, the Ahsoka series, and I think the Andor series.
I'm actually excited for Andor. I know a
Yeah,
lot of people have not talked about it, but having another another person of Mexican culture represent this
yeah.
franchise is just keep them coming, man.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, Oscar Isaac is, I think, of Guatemalan descent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Diego Luna, obviously, he's from Mexico. And you know what? I remember in school when we had that one preacher come and he's like, "I never wanted to be a preacher. I wanted to be the first Mexican on Star Wars."
Yeah,
And
I
he's
remember that.
and he's like, "Come on, Chewie." I'm like, "Oh my god!" But yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be really interesting shows, and they have some of the like they casted a live action oh man, I forgot his name already from Rebels. Uh,
Um,
it
are you
begins
are
with
you referring to the main character?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, like I said, I have completely forgotten. I know who he is just by the look of it. I just forgot the name.
All right, hold on. Okay, I accidentally typed Star Wars. Ezra Bridger. Okay,
There you go.
yeah. So they got the guy who played Aladdin to play Ezra Bridger for the Ahsoka series, and I forgot who they got to play Sabine because I think they casted a live action Sabine by now. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I know Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was just recently hired to play a role in I believe it was the Ahsoka series, but I
Mm.
could be wrong. I think it could be the Rangers. I don't know if you heard of that one.
Yeah, that one where I forgot what her name was. She directed Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was talks this they were going to bring the Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels to come out in the Obi-Wan prequel, or the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So oh man, I didn't realize that also Jason Isaacs was the voice. If y'all don't know who Jason Isaacs is, he was Lucius Malfoy in
Oh yeah.
yeah, he was Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. He recently came out in a movie this year. Y'all should see. It's called Math. Dude, heartbreaking. The Oscars, like always, completely ignored this one. I'll give you a brief history about this movie before we jump in. Math is about two parents from the events of a school shooting. One set of parents is the victim, and then one set of parents is the perpetrator, and then they have a talk about it. So yeah, if that doesn't sound interesting, there's something wrong with you. Jason Isaacs is so good in that movie, and because he plays one of the parents he plays the dad of the perpetrator, I
Oh
think.
wow.
Yeah, but yeah, again, yeah. I'm sorry I went off topic, but I just had to put that out there. But anyway, yeah, Jason Isaacs was the voice of the Inquisitor, and he was so good as the Inquisitor too. And they're not gonna get the same actor, sadly, which I would have loved to see. But yeah, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the Kenobi series. And it's funny because it's like, I hope it's not like one of those things where it's like, because in X-Men, it's like the recent X-Men movie, it's like they had James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender still look young, when in 5 years they're supposed to be like really old, but they're supposed to look really old in that movie. So I hope they don't make that same mistake with the Obi-Wan, with the Obi-Wan series.
I could see that happening. I mean, from what I understand, based on the poster that they released recently and on all the interviews they've been giving with Ewan McGregor,
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like it's gonna be taking place maybe a couple of weeks just after the end of episode 3,
Oh,
where he
okay.
gives Luke to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a feeling they're gonna. I remember, yeah, they hired the same actors
Yeah.
to come back in this, so he's gonna still look young, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. It's funny because he was actually, I think Ewan McGregor was in his late 20s, early 30s when he did Star Wars, but he looked a little bit older in the movie.
Oh yeah,
Actually, he still looks the same now.
he does. It's like he never changed.
I guess to us it would make more sense. But yeah, and then obviously we didn't talk about this, but the Bad Batch, it was a really good series. D. Bradley Baker was the voice of all the characters.
Oh man, this man.
Dude, yeah, and obviously I do want to see like a live action Rex, like again played by Tamara Morrison. But if they were to do the Bad Batch live action, I actually want it to be Daniel Logan, who played the younger Boba Fett in episode 2.
Oh yes, dude.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome to see.
yeah, because he actually also voiced Boba in the 3-part finale of season 2 when it was Boba Fett trying to seek revenge for Mace Windu, killing his father.
Yeah.
Yeah, which begs the question: is he a clone, or is he his actual son, or is he just like someone he took in as his own son?
I believe he is legitimately a clone of him, but like one of those very perfect ones that doesn't, because Django wanted a son, and from what we know, he wanted he he made the clones, and in exchange he had asked for an actual copy of himself, but with the obvious changes so that he looks unique from all the other clones.
Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense, because I think I remember Tamara Morrison is supposed to play a different clone in the Obi-Wan series, but it's not going to be Rex. It's going to be somebody else. I don't know who, but man, and it's interesting again how 45 years later, it's not like the James Bond movies, or it's like one movie after the next. It's like they have more with their material. They're doing they're doing the TV shows, they're doing the video games, and all still using John Williams' scores. And by the way, Ludwig Grossman is actually really good with his scoring too.
He is who I want to hear. As literally, like, this is the successor to John Williams. Yes. What is it? In Rogue One, I think I'm pronouncing it, if I pronounce it wrong, Michael Giacchino.
Yeah.
I know he made that, and I know I'm familiar with his work from the Jurassic World films and the Batman that's coming out. But I mean, yeah, he's really good in that regards. But hearing Ludwig, man, that's who I want to hear.
Yeah.
After John Williams is passing, that's who I want to take the mantle for the rest of the entire franchise.
Yeah. Because I mean, let's face it, the OG cast is not gonna live forever. George Lucas is definitely not gonna live forever. I feel like he should have seen, who can take, or who is worthy enough to take in his mantle. Like who would have the same vision as like who has his vision. That's just what I'm trying to say. Who would have his vision in Star Wars? That's
Dave Filoni, baby.
Yeah, Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau. I feel like they should have taken in, the series, but I mean, it is what it is. It's the damage is already done.
Just accept it and move on.
Just accept it and move on. But I mean, I've always loved the series, and I still love it. And yes, I'll still watch the sequel trilogy despite a lot of flaws I have with it. But it's still a love for me. I still have that love, and I still love seeing Samuel Jackson as Mace Windu.
Oh, that
Um,
much, man.
so I'm
It's
gonna
just
end.
so good to watch all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna end with this. Like I saw this thing where it's a Star Wars poster, but it's nothing but Mace Windu, and it said Star Wars Rise of the MF of the mother.
I think I've seen. I think I have seen that before.
No, because you told me like if you listen closely to when a Rey is listening to all the Jedi's, you can literally hear Mace Windu saying, "Use the voice. I mean, use the Force, mother." Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I mean, I mean that's like his signature saying almost. Or what was it? Get my wallet that says bad motherfucker on it.
Yeah.
Man, but we could go on and on, but we are actually out of time right now. But Jesus, thank you for being part of the podcast.
As always, man. Thanks for having me. I really hope to be a part of this sometime soon.
Yeah, you're always you are always welcome. You guys have a good night, and may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.